of the extractives and the energy sector. So this woman needs to be told that they matter. This woman needs to understand that they can contribute to the growth and development of their family. And this woman sometimes needs support in terms of, for example, the protective equipment that they can use. And I'm looking at the example of women in the mining sector who need support to be able to operate and also to exist with the activities that are being undertaken.
Of course, so many learnings for sure, having been the first female technical staff in the petroleum department, that's about 23 years ago. But what I've seen is the fact that women have always had to work twice as hard to get at the table. But at the same time, the sector hasn't been so inviting for women to participate. But that narrative has changed now, and there is more intentionality around bringing women into the conversation, bringing women to take up those jobs, but also advocacy for women to take up the leadership positions. Of course, no question, as a woman, you have to work twice as hard to earn that position. That's the way society is. But at the same time, when women take up these positions at the top, they drive the agenda in a way that they want to open up space for other women to take up leadership positions. So in my experience, I think we need to do more. The statistics don't look good. We still need more women in leadership positions. But at the same time, not only in the formal structured jobs, but also within the business environment, women need to set up businesses that are structured in a way that they can be able to take up the opportunities that are available in the energy and extractive sector.
As a young girl in a male-dominated environment, it wasn't always easy at the start. And it took me some time to get to understand that even me, I can make it, even better than the men. So what helped me is to understand and to keep hope alive, to look at the bigger picture and know that I too, like men, can make it. For example, there are traditional stereotypes where the certain jobs belong to men. But I looked at myself and I said, if men can do it, even myself, I can do it, and even better. But another thing is to try to be friends with the men around you so that they don't look out for you as if you're not good enough. So their support was really good enough, and there are good men outside there who look at you and know your vulnerabilities, and they look at you for support. The other aspect is to have a strong support system, just like mentors and people you look up to that will inspire you, women who have made it in the world. They will help one to be able to make it up to the highest level. The other aspect is to be able to understand that you too can do it and you can make it.
You can't do this alone. You can't get to the top of your career by yourself. You're going to need a person to talk to. You're going to need someone who's going to guide you, give you advice for your best interest. So WIN is ready to provide those opportunities for you. We're going to have all the best female leaders in the sector available to guide you, to mentor you, and to be your sponsors.
I've been on the interim committee and I have learned a lot from the WIN platform. With us, we've been able to share experiences because we've had people in the different, in the renewable and the non-renewable energy as part of the committee. So we've been able to share experiences. We've put this together and we believe that after the launch, this is going to be massive.
I see WIN as a big movement that is going to, go territories. Of course, today we are launching WIN, starting off within the territory of Uganda, encompassing the energy and extractive sector. But I believe the issue of women inclusivity goes beyond borders. In the 5 years, I want to see this as an African movement, something that is beyond UNOC, something that is beyond the joint venture partners, something
Ladies
that is
and gentlemen,
beyond the energy and extractives industries here. A movement that is driving inclusivity of women from a global level.
Can you kindly turn it down a bit? Okay, so we're going to wrap up breakfast very quickly, and I would request that all of you settle into your tables and we can get into the program of the day. So let's take another 3 to 5 minutes to finish getting our breakfast, and then we will commence with the activities for the day.
That is going to make us build our leadership skills as we advance our careers and expertise in the oil and gas as well as the extractive sector.
My vision for WIN is to see that the platform goes beyond our local establishment as a country to get that world impact that we require for that woman within Uganda and abroad, and working in this sector of energy and extractives, benefiting from it. So I see it going global and being an organization to be benchmarked from by the different countries that would have the desire to develop such a network.
The advice I would give any woman that wants to join WIN is you have an opportunity. You have a network of women that are coming from different sectors within the energy space. You have women that are coming in from the oil and gas industry. You have women that are coming in from electricity. You have women that are coming in from minerals, from solar, from nuclear, but also the support services. So you have this opportunity to network with women, learn about the opportunities that are available in the energy and extractive sector, but also get an opportunity to be mentored as a woman. It's very important that as women, we get mentored by people. Even myself as a CEO, I have a mentor. You always look up to someone, but at the same time, your peers allow you to keep the balance, but also WIN will give an opportunity for women to lift other women to become better versions of themselves.
I want to encourage the young female out there, the young lady out there, that this is a sector that you can contribute to. You should join because there are going to be very many opportunities at your disposal. We're going to have mentorship opportunities, training, career
Good morning
guidance.
again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. All protocol observed, of course, as we await our chief guest. I would like to invite the hotel representative to give us a safety moment. Anybody? Okay, as we wait for the shared... No? Okay, as we wait for the hotel representative to come up, I will just give you another 3 minutes to enjoy your breakfast. Okay?
To the CEO of the Uganda National Oil Company. I also lead the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Initiative.
My name is Amina Bukenya. I'm the Media and Publicity Manager, Senok Uganda Limited.
My name is Emily Nakamya.
I'm Business Planning and Performance Manager at the Uganda National Company.
So as we get out of our teething problems, I would like to invite Hawa Bukenya to give us a prayer. Please come up.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. You're most welcome to the official launch of Women in Energy and Extractives Network Limited. And we're very happy and honored to have you all here. I've been asked to pray this morning, so I'd like to invite us all to humble ourselves for a word of prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life and health. We thank you for all that have made it today. We thank you for this network. We thank you for the distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are in this room, and we ask that for those who are on their way, you help them hasten their steps as they make it here. We pray that you come amidst us as we go about our launch. We pray that you help us achieve the objectives, mission, and vision of the Women in Energy and Extractives Network Limited. We ask that you bless us, guide us, and be with us as we go through the day. In your name we've prayed. Amen.
Thank you, Hawa. And may I have the hotel representative to give us a safety moment?
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel Ikeba, Security Officer, Kampala Serena Hotel. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Kampala Serena Hotel. To start with, we are in the first floor of the conference center building and in the Katonga Hall. Immediately, we start with the washrooms. When you go from the main entrance to Katonga, when you turn to your left, ladies will take into the left, and then the gents will take into the right-hand side. Then Kampala Serena is very safe, as you may have experienced when we were coming in. We have pinnacle security and armed police officers in all areas. Security is well guaranteed for all the guests who are in Kampala Serena Hotel. Then when it comes to fire alarm, please, I urge all our guests, do not panic. We have a team on ground who will, in case it will necessitate to have evacuation from Katonga Hall, they will lead us to a fire assembly point, which is just in front of the conference center building. Please feel safe in Kampala Serena Hotel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome you again and introduce myself. My name is Nana Kaga. I'll be your MC for this amazing event that is the launch of WIN, which is Women in Energy and Extractives Network. By background, I have a degree in chemical engineering. I used to be a petroleum engineer. I see so many familiar faces, but I left you all to do media. And that's what I do now. But it's such an honor to actually be able to combine both my passions and actually be part of this. So as we sit here waiting for our chief guest, I would like to welcome a few faces. I'm not nitpicking, but I'm going to call out some names because I should be a little bit more less excited, but I can't help myself. I see Mariam Nampera. I see Joan Namkasa, I see Proskovia Nabanja, I see Amina Bukenya, I see Hawa Bukenya, I can't, the list is endless. I see you, Benita. It's been an amazing journey to get to this event. I have worked with some really amazing people. The vision they have for this network is, I wish it had been started when I was part of the industry, but I can only say better late than never. Now, I would like to invite Lloyd Achichoncho to give us some welcome remarks.
Thank you, MC, and thank you all for coming. Our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu, who is yet to arrive, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, who is yet to arrive, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. My name is Lloyd Achichoncho, and I'm the head of exploration and new ventures at the Uganda National Oil Company, and I'm speaking on behalf of the WIN Interim Committee today. A very good morning to everyone. On behalf of the Interim Committee, I am honored today to warmly welcome you all to this auspicious event as we officially launch the Women in Energy and Extractives Network, WIN, under the theme, The Role of Women in the Energy and Extractive Sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the participation of women in the energy and extractive sector, like in many other sectors, is constrained by several factors that include inadequate funding and limited access to credit, inadequate information and limited awareness on available opportunities, risk aversiveness, and unconscious biases, to mention but a few. We recognize and appreciate that several initiatives have been implemented by respective ministries, departments, agencies, development partners, and companies to address the challenges faced by women in the sector. WIN recognizes this and was therefore formed to address these challenges with the aim of leveraging on the power of networks of all women and men in the energy and extractive sector and promoting and collaboration with respective institutions that implement similar initiatives. This is all geared towards promoting the participation of women in the sector. The Women in Energy and Extractives Network was established to promote gender equity and inclusion in the sector and provide a platform for women in the industry to connect, learn, and collaborate. The Women in Energy and Extractives Network, WIN, was incorporated on 26 September 2022 as a company limited by guarantee. WIN held a successful breakfast meeting on 31st of January 2023 to introduce the initiative to a wider network of women in the energy and extractive sector and establish a need for a sector-wide organization that promotes gender equity, diversity, and inclusion in the sector and extractives. It was further agreed that the official launch of WIN be held on 11th May 2023, that is today, alongside the East African Petroleum Conference 2023. To that effect, an interim committee was constituted to spearhead the formation of an umbrella organization with the following key responsibilities: formulate the vision, mission, and objectives of the organization, formulate the governance structure of the organization, propose branding and logo for the organization, prepare a draft work plan and draft budget for the organization that will be approved by the governing bodies upon appointment, propose membership tiers, and prepare, coordinate, and deliver a successful launch of the umbrella organization. Ladies and gentlemen, the interim committee comprised of the following members: Lloyd Achichoncho as the chairperson. I'd request the interim committee to just stand up for recognition. Ms. Betty Namubiru as the vice chairperson. Ms. Samantha Kamanzi as the secretary. Ms. Benita Bageire as a member. Emily Nakamia as a member. Mr. Muhumza Bageire as a member. Ms. Amina Bukenya as a member. Ms. Esther Aguti as a member. Ms. Victoria Namsoke as a member. Mr. Nick Tuma, a member. Ms. Nana Kaga, member, and Ms. Loyola Karobwa as a member. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to inform you that the interim committee delivered on all their roles and responsibilities, as will be revealed to you in the course of the event. Turning to the event at hand, the program for today will feature a keynote address from our guest of honor, a panel discussion on the strategies to promote participation of women in the sector, the introduction of the governance structure and networking opportunities, providing a unique opportunity to learn about the organization and its objectives, as well as share insights of growing the organization to cause the desired impact. The event will be culminated by the WIN brand logo reveal. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to extend our sincere gratitude to the following: the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, through the Honorable Minister of Energy and the Permanent Secretary, for their commitment towards this initiative and enabling WIN to launch during the East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023. The Uganda National Oil Company, through the CEO, for providing an enabling environment upon which WIN was established, and the financial support towards the establishment of WIN, the breakfast meeting, and other support extended during the preparation and organization of this launch. I thank the East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 through the Steering Committee and National Organizing Committee for sponsoring the session and other synergies. I thank the founder members for the vision to formulate an organization that goes beyond individual institution initiatives to harness collaboration and create a bigger impact to increase women participation in the sector. To our dear sponsors, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, the East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition, Uganda National Oil Company Limited, Petroleum Authority of Uganda, Sinok Uganda Limited, Total Energies, SLB, Abmac Associates, Stanbic Bank, and Joel Energies for their financial support extended to the interim committee towards making this launch event a success. And I thank the ladies and gentlemen who have already joined WIN through payment of the membership fees, and those that have committed to joining WIN. I thank the interim committee for their hard work and commitment that has led to the success of hosting this launch event. I thank the various providers at this event who have contributed enormously by providing excellent work to ensure we hold a successful event. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me on a special note to thank the Women in Energy, Oil and Gas Nigeria through their national president, Dr. Oladuni Owo, for the support rendered to WIN. Together with one of their members who have traveled from far away from Nigeria to attend this event. I'd like to request Mrs. Joanna Falui to stand up for recognition. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your participation and wish you fruitful deliberation. Together, we will do it.
WIN, Women in Energy.
WIN is an initiative that was founded on the principles of inclusivity of women in the energy and extractives network. And the role of us setting up WIN is really to create inclusivity for women to participate in the oil and gas sector, but also involve the girl child in the discussions around how to make them take up the STEM subjects, make them learn more about our industry, and as they get into the job market, they get access to all the different opportunities in the oil and gas sector, but even those who are looking for contracts to be able to win those contracts and participate wholly in the oil and gas sector.
The women in the extractives and any other sector in the country have a number of challenges they face by nature. And these challenges include, for example, access to information, access to credit and financing. There is unconscious bias that is around women, the negative perceptions about women that they are very weak. There are a number of other challenges that women face that we think together as women and men can be able to solve and create a way to support the women to increase their participation in the energy and extractive sector.
Well, it's very important for WIN to exist in Uganda, for reason being that we have a nascent oil and gas industry in Uganda. We only discovered the resources since 2006, and now we are moving into the development and production phase, and it's important for women to be included in this narrative. Women are critical in the oil and gas sector because they play a fundamental role in energy utilization. And because the oil and gas sector has always been known to impact women in one way or the other, we are very intentional on including women in this narrative. But that being said, we've decided that WIN stretches beyond the oil and gas sector to include all the other energy forms like solar, electricity, from hydropower, from wind, all the different forms of energy, but also all those other complementary services that relate to the oil and gas industry and the broader energy sector. So we are intentional on ensuring that women are participating in the opportunities, in the contracting, but also trying to drive the narrative around the curricula that is so inclusive of women so that they get the opportunities in the extractives industries.
We, as a committee of the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee, we saw a gap in the sector where women enter the industry. They are usually at the bottom of the ranks or at the very top. So we realized that there's a critical mass in the middle that needed to be addressed.
I believe that an initiative like WIN is important to a country like Uganda because it brings the women professionals together, and this is a way of advocating, building and maintaining networks, and also be able to tackle the issues that affect the women in the extractives and the energy industry.
The reason why institutions or networks like WIN are important, I borrow an experience from my working life where we see that we labor and put in a lot of effort, but when there is a lot of silo working. So I believe a network like WIN, which brings together the different institutions, the different women from other institutions, would be a great platform for us to put efforts together to see that we cause an impact rather than working independently in our different spaces.
I believe my role as a board member is quite critical. Number one, the fact that I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Uganda National Oil Company, I will advocate for policy change or policy initiatives that allow for inclusivity of women. Now, I play a role within the oil and gas industry, and I've seen some of the areas where we need to drive policy in terms of advocating for the girl child to remain in school. And what we are seeing today in the oil and gas industry is the fact that we're getting a lot of urban migration into the project.
So as we proceed with the program of the day, I would like to recognize a few people in the room. Ms. Proskovia Nabanja, CEO of UNOC. Engineer Ziria Tibarua Wako, CEO of the Electrical Regulatory Authority. Ms. Anjuko, CEO Stanbic. Dr. Mulemwa, Chairperson of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. Dr. Kevin Anyu, Board Member, Petroleum Authority Uganda. Mr. Halfan, Chairperson, Pure, Tanzania. Now, after that, I would like to invite Betty Nakamia to come up here and invite the panelists so that we can proceed with the panel discussion.
A very good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. I really struggle speaking when I see many people moving up and down. I want to kindly request that we all take our seats because we are about to listen from great women in the industry, but also in this country. I would like to, first of all, thank the organizers for making this possible. We've come a long way thinking about this, and we would like to really recognize the CEO of UNOC for making this possible. Thank you. Just to introduce myself, my name is Betty Namubiru. I work as the manager in charge of national content monitoring at the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, and at the same time, I'm the vice chairperson of the Women in Energy and Extractives Network. My role here is very simple. I'm going to moderate a panel of very vibrant women that are doing a lot of work in this industry. And my hope is that we can be able to share some experience looking at what they have done, how they have been able to make it into leadership positions. And to begin with, to join me up on the stage, I would like to invite Barbara Nabuweke, the head of legal and contracts negotiations at Uganda National Oil Company. Welcome, Barbara. As Barbara gets up on the podium, I would like to invite Engineer Ziria Wako, the CEO of Electricity Regulatory Authority. You're welcome. I would like to invite Kande Wekesa Okoboy, the head of legal at Stanbic Bank Uganda. From UN Women, I would like to invite Paul Collins Okello, the program specialist in charge of women economic empowerment. Welcome. I would expect a much louder hand clap, and I do recognize the gentlemen that have joined us today. It's a women's event, but being able to come up here, I really recognize and thank you for making the effort. Next, I would like to invite Engineer Grace Nakumatovu, the Senior Inspector of Mines in the Geological Surveys and Mines. Engineer Grace, please take up the podium. And lastly, I would like to invite Benita Begeire, the founder and CEO of Albertine Oil and Gas Company. Ladies and gentlemen, can I be heard? All right. This is the panel before us this morning, and the subject we are going to be discussing is women. Women. Can we all say women? Women. Yeah. So this network, Women in Energy and Extractives Network, is looking at how best to lift ourselves as women through collaboration, through discussions, engagements. How can we share experiences and knowledge? How can we tap from the brains of our great leaders, women that have taken leadership positions, to be able to work out ourselves going up at the top? You know that unfortunately it is often thought that women can't do as much as men. And I'm saying this with all respect to, due respect to men, but I'm only pointing out
a fact that normally comes up whenever the women are taking up these positions. So how do we share experiences? How do we get to learn how we can package ourselves as women to take up some of these leadership roles, to grow into our career, to maneuver the different tasks that we normally have, the job, the family, the children. We also need to be seen as very prosperous and, entrepreneurs. So how do we juggle all these? So this is going to be the main reason we'll be discussing in this panel. But to begin with, I want to begin with you, Barbara. Barbara comes from UNOC, as we've all heard, and UNOC is the brainchild of this, and we're very thankful to the CEO, Madame Proskovia Nabanja. The brainchild of WIN, Women in Extractives and Energy and Extractives Network. What inspired the formation of WIN? What came into your mind? Why did you think about this? And where do you see this going in the next 5 to 10 years? Barbara.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Betty, for the kind compliments and introduction remarks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you're most welcome. Why WIN? As Nambiras rightly pointed out, and probably Roida in her earlier remarks, she indicated that the CEO of UNOC spearheaded. She's a brain behind Women in Energy and Extractives Network. She did not work alone. She has founder members, and I'm proud to say I was one of them, and many others seated in this room. What inspired UNOC? As you're aware, Uganda National Oil Company is a very young company, but it's very ambitious. Our mandate is clearly cut out, so we must run as an organization. We cannot afford to walk. The time is not allowing this. So one of the initiatives the company came up with was to come up with a strategy on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And while developing that particular strategy, we thought about the gaps. What are the gaps that do exist? And we noted that women are actually working in the backstop functions in energy and extractives industry. And therefore, we had to think twice and say, what is going on? We realized that there are so many activities being set up by women, so many networks that are being set up, so many enterprising activities that are going on by women, but we needed to think of a platform. How can we come together as women and ensure that those synergies are actually giving us a lasting solution and a solution and guiding us in terms of a strategic way of moving forward and elevating a woman. So the purpose and the drivers behind WIN is essentially to ensure that women have a network to collaborate. We are promoting and supporting women to grow, and also to keep in the energy and extractives industry. We want to ensure that there is gender integration. We want to ensure that women are not in corner offices, but rather women move to the high table and are actually contributing strategically to the debate that is going on, be it in policy, be it in entrepreneurship, be it on any subject pertaining to extractives and the energy industry. In terms of the vision for WIN, where do we want to see ourselves in the next 5 years? I think the women in this room can all answer that. We want to see a sustainable network. We want to see women integration. Today, the global reports indicate that the workforce is about, for women, is about 39%, but we only have 16% of women in energy. But many of us are in those back office roles. The question is why? So we are creating a platform where we can network, where we can collaborate, and we want to ensure that this network grows. So the key thing we want to see in the next 5 years is many CEOs. We have many CEOs in this room today. We have many GMs in this room today. I will not point to any. We have many directors in this room, but we want to see you attracting young people. And we want to also see people, ladies in science, technology, mathematics. Why are we scared of numbers? 1 + 1 is equals to 2. We can never be 4. So we want to make sure that actually this platform mentors, it coaches women. And we have many young people we have attracted and retained in the energy and extractive sector. We want to ensure that the gender disparity, the gap that has been indicated in all these reports, that narrative is totally changed. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Indeed, we need to think of ways, mechanisms, strategies to ensure that we bridge the gap. I would now want to turn to Engineer Ziria. We know that the Electricity Regulatory Authority is doing a number of initiatives through your corporate social responsibility, and one of them being the Women in Energy initiative. Can you just highlight what that does and how WIN, a new kid on the block, can tag into and benefit in terms of collaboration?
Good morning. I hope you are happy to be here. Allow me to thank the organizers of the conference for allowing us the opportunity to share, to relate, and to learn from each other as part of this conference. I will introduce myself. Usually I do that so that the younger girls in the room know that it is possible. You can be a successful, loving wife. You can be an efficient CEO. You can as well be a very, very committed civil servant. But more so, you can participate in STEM and still remain beautiful and flexible enough, because most of them used to think that STEM engineering is a field that is masculine. So I always introduce myself well so that I demystify that. So I quickly do that, and then I will turn to you and share what is happening, how we are contributing and synergizing with the Women in Energy and Extractive, the other side of the component of Women in Energy. I'm Engineer Ziria Tibalwa Wako. I have worked in this sector since 1993 as the first. We were the pioneers to work on the system control and data acquisition system. Then that looked like a new technology because we were able to remotely monitor, control, do switchings of the electricity supply network from a central place across the entire country. So it was a passionate area for my entry into the electricity supply industry. And I've worked across the entire electricity supply industry, from the operations to national planning to now a regulator. I am married to Professor Paul Wako, and God has blessed us with five children. So indeed, you can be a scientist, you can be an engineer, and you can be a CEO, and as well a mother. I participate in the regional activities in the recent past. I think you've seen Cabinet this Monday approved Uganda to host the independent regulatory board that is going to be the regulator for the region That is the Eastern African Power Pool that pulls together 13 countries to share, to exchange, and trade in electricity. The objective is to ensure that the population in our countries are able to access the cheapest, environmentally sustainable electron in the block for both improved welfare of society and also to contribute to the socio-economic transformation. So I chair the board of IRB. I would like to appreciate the CEO, UNOC, but also our minister and the permanent secretary for coming up with this initiative to bring together the women in energy together with the women in extractive. Women in energy has been around since 2017. We purpose to exhibit ourselves to the young and progressive girl child and mentor them and speak to them to choose careers in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The objective is already been said that while the lack of adequate, reliable, sustainable energy impacts the mother more than the other, the participation of the female gender in the activities, in determining policy, in implementing policy, that will enable us achieve the two extreme objectives, that is deliver reliable and affordable energy for improved welfare of society, and as well as deliver energy to fuel productive activities for socio-economic transformation. The ladies are few. I want also to credit our president that the electricity supply industry, the Minister of Energy, is unique on the continent because it's a ministry that has a female minister and many female leaders. But it is not like that in most of the countries. So it is important that the women here today not only come on board and embrace these initiatives, but look around and reflect around your social cycle of influence and start with you to make impact. I'm privileged to participate in speaking to university students as well as mentoring some of them, that including the university lecturers that are purposing to grow into a leadership role. There are various barriers shared by one of the presenters, but one area that we keep dwelling in is to use our femininity to fail to progress. Because nobody has ever said that when you're a woman you don't do A, B, C, D, but many of us, due to poor planning, lack of exposure and mentorship, always use our femininity to fail to progress. I have gone through this journey. I managed to carry the 5 children. I've managed to cook. I've managed to do, and I have leveraged a lot of support from both women and men. Incidentally, my main mentors are actually men. So men do not block women from progressing, but women don't leverage that opportunity to create the necessary confidence to be ready with the qualification and skills and to lean in. Possibly if I asked if there was a high-ranking job today, and all of us have the opportunity to apply for that job, but we have less than 30 minutes to submit our application, the majority of us will not even think, because our CVs are dusty. Our career progression is in the future plan. After getting the children, when my marriage stabilizes, when my boss accepts, we are quick. We are quick to surrender our future perspective and future growth and our readiness to grow to the other party. And I think that is something that we must overcome. The other one is lamenting about culture. Yes, I collected firewood. Yes, I cooked. I carried the jerrycans of water home. Whichever background.
Allow me to interrupt you. Ladies and gentlemen, our chief guest has arrived. Can we please stand up to welcome her? Ladies and gentlemen, let's sing the Uganda national anthem. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Before we resume our panel discussion, I would like to invite Ms. Proskovia Nabanja, the CEO of UNOC, to welcome our chief guest.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Now that's the power of ladies' voices, because the gentlemen were sounding, you know, more than the women. So welcome, everyone, to the launch of Women in Energy and Extractives Network. Honorable Minister, we've come a long way with this initiative. Welcome to the launch of WIN. You'll recall when I came to your office and I requested you to take on a role which will be introduced to the audience along the way, which you gladly accepted. The Honorable Minister is our shareholder, majority shareholder of the Uganda National Oil Company, holding 51%, and everyone knows that wherever she steps foot, a difference is made. And I think, as you've recognized, since she took over the role as the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, we've achieved so many milestones as a sector, and we believe, Honorable Minister, that come 2025, we'll see that commercial production come to fruition. So my role is to really welcome you and appreciate immensely your support in us launching this initiative, your support to this noble cause of pushing the women agenda for inclusivity. Our sector is well known to be one of those that hasn't been so inclusive when it comes to women, and I guess I have a story or two to tell myself as the first female technical staff within the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development over 23 years ago. I remember it wasn't an easy road, but to see many women come into the room and be, you know, the ones manning the industry and contributing to key decisions, it makes me super proud. It shows that at least I carried the flag and I opened up doors for other women to join the sector. So, Honorable Minister, once again, welcome, and welcome to everyone to the launch of Women in Energy and Extractives Network. Nana, I'd like to hand back to you.
Thank you for that, Prosi. So we'll resume the panel discussion, and then once that is done, we'll proceed with the program as it was.
The Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Honorable Dr. Ruthie Nankabirwa Sentam, our mama, allow me to join my colleague, Abanja, to welcome you and to thank you for exhibiting yourself as a woman always. We thank you for that. You join us when we are continuing with the panel discussion, and you met me on the floor. And I wanted to share with the audience today that women should stop using cultural background as the reason for failure to move forward and grow. And I just shared with them that you and me and many ladies in this audience equally participated in the girl-child mentorship that our families impart when we were growing, but that never deterred us from progressing. Honorable, I would like, through you, to thank our government. It has put in place various initiatives to encourage and ensure gender balance. The most practical one is when they are considering the budget, the empty for the ministry. You have to get a certificate to show that the staff complement in your ministry is balanced between both the gender. Meaning that as a government, on annual process, we go through the reflection and the revalidation of how we are growing both the agenda. The other one I wanted to share is the planning, because the life of a mother, the life of a female profession takes a similar course of that of a male, but has various commitments that in some stages bar you from participating in some practical activities. And therefore, planning your life well so that your femininity does not become an impingement to your growth is very, very important. There is always a window of 5 years for those who are like immediately after graduation that many people don't account for. They graduate and over-celebrate. By the time they wake up, they want to marry, they want to carry a baby, they want to do a master's, as well as grow in their career. If you don't plan your life well, you will blame the system around you for not sending you to climb a tower, but you are 8 months pregnant. How will you climb a tower? You won't. So planning our life journey very well is very important so that you are able to prioritize time for career advancement, because you need to get additional qualifications that will make you competitive. You need to choose a profession of your choice. I'm a CEO, but I chose to be an electrical engineer from senior 2. So I've been moving my entire journey of life knowing that I'm an electrical engineer. So I went through to pursue combinations that led me to electrical engineering, go through technical institutions pursuing electrical engineering, go through university pursuing electrical engineering, register with the Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers pursuing electrical engineering, register with the Engineers Registration Board to be a fully certified, licensed, practicing engineer of government. That is a plan. It is a plan, because you don't just wake up and say, I'm favored to be in this profession. You must plan and walk the journey. Now, when again I chose that I have practiced engineering up to the top level as a director technical regulation, influencing the performance of the entire electricity supply industry, I knew where would be my next stage, in the boardroom. So I went back. In addition to having a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering, I required a qualification of leadership. I went and undertook an MBA in leadership to prepare me again to become a leader and a viable, credible, competent, skilled leader. Really, I'm sharing this so that we learn, but also that we guide the younger ladies around us. So planning well, and planning doesn't stop at the journey of career and professional growth, but also planning your life well, because the responsibilities of a woman include being a mother, being a wife, being a profession, being an auntie, and many others, and all of these are done simultaneously. So usually I share what we call an electrical switch. A switch is very, very precise. When you switch off, you don't see light. When you switch on, you see light. So for younger girls, I always give an analogy of an electric switch, that you need to switch roles. It doesn't make sense to carry your laptop in the bedroom. There are few men who will enjoy that. They don't enjoy that. It doesn't make sense to take out your children and you are busy on the laptop. There are few people who would enjoy that. And also it doesn't make sense to be in the boardroom, busy on the phone following with your partner or your children. So don't become an inconvenience to the people that are looking up to you to grow. So again, planning your workaday well. This business of waking up and taking to chance and responding to what comes your way will present you as a very, very disorganized leader, and they will put that on to women. They will quickly say, but women are like that. But we are not like that. We are not like that. We can perform and perform excellently. I think the other area I wanted to share is what we are doing as the electricity supply industry, in addition to what we are launching today, through our minister, who is the patron and has been a patron to the women in the energy program. Honorable Minister, you have a lot of greetings from Nabisunsa, from Mary Hill, from the girls across the entire country that we visited and mentored and talked to during this Women's Month of this year. So we have come together as women in the electricity supply industry and now in the extractives. And during the month of women, which is the month of March when we celebrate 8th March, which they tag as the Women's Day, but I think every day is a Women's Day. You don't see any person who wakes up in their home and does anything without the influence or participation of women. So every day is a Women's Day, but we take this month to take forward the women's agenda. And therefore, we, as women serving in the electricity supply industry and the extractives, I want to thank my colleague Nabanja. The ladies from the extractives joined us this year. We moved to girl secondary schools, but also to universities and mentor girls. The issue is that the choice of a career starts early in someone's life. I've shared that mine started when I was crossing from senior 2 to senior 3. So it is important, if we are attracting women in STEM, women in engineering, women in extractives, in addition to networking as us who have made it to the top, we need to go a bit down and influence the career choice. Because if you wait for them after university, they would have already chosen their career choice. So we are targeting to influence the career choice, and many times we get very interesting feedback. When the results of Senior 5, Senior 6 are back, you could check in my inbox. The head teachers are quick to say, you have a colleague to mentor because she did PCM and has 20 points, is heading for an engineering course. You have someone who is looking up to you. And we leave our contacts just to have an impact, to influence choice of the career. Then the other one is the capacity building. Through the approval of the ministry, we have a capacity building program in the electricity supply industry, which covers about 100 fresh graduates. And these fresh graduates are given opportunity to serve in the electricity supply industry across the value chain, in the generation companies, transmission companies, distribution, regulatory, and at the ministry. And they are sponsored with the transport, lunch, safety gear for those who are in the practical side. So this program, the way it is done is that 70% is in the engineering field and 30% in the humanities, because the humanities support the engineering to come together and deliver. And then also the program is very precise. 60% of those are male and 40% of those are female. So that program has really delivered a lot of results. In the recent recruitments, we are seeing so many women joining the electricity supply industry. I can go on and on and on, but I can see the moderator saying I will come back. So I would like to thank you, and again to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share. Allow me to finalize by the exhibiting the women that I came with from ERA. I came along with the engineer Judith Naiga Sengendo, a senior engineer, a woman, a mother, and very passionate about the women movements. And then I also came around with the woman behind the camera. Where are you? Stand up. Amina Namudu. I came with Amina Namudu. Amina Namudu is very, very passionate about the women movement. I would like to thank you for the opportunity, and I remain available to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer Ziria. I think she deserves another round of applause. I almost felt like letting her speak because she speaks so passionately about what we need to do. This is the main reason we are here this morning. We are hearing stories of how someone has been able to navigate the different roles that we have as women, and this, I think, is very key. Thank you very much. We've listened to Honorable Minister. This panel is looking at sharing experience. We have elders here. We have people that we regard with high esteem, trying to share the experience so we can learn. Next, we've listened from government institutions, UNOC and the Electricity Regulatory Authority. We can now turn to the banking sector. Candy, coming from the banking sector, we would like you to share with us how can a lady get so confident and thrive in a male-dominated space. As a head of legal, these are positions that are normally cut out by stereotype for men. So how would you encourage one to become so confident and stand in that space? But also you could tell us what the bank can do to support women that are trying to get into this male-dominated space. In 2 minutes, please.
In 2 minutes. Thank you, moderator. I'd like to recognize the Honorable Minister. It's always nice to see you. And I'd like to congratulate the founders of this fantastic initiative. We are told that we are in the information age, but some people actually believe that we're actually in the collaboration age, and that without collaboration, none of us can really manage the opportunities that the globe throws at us. So congratulations, women, on taking this first step towards collaboration. I think this is very powerful. To the question that you asked, I don't think the engineer's contribution can be made any better. But I'd just like to go back to one thing that you mentioned, Madam Engineer, and that is putting the gender card too centrally in our minds. Walking into a space and seeing ourselves as women. It is important, and yes, we are women and we're proud of it. But sometimes when you focus too much on being the only woman who is in the space, the only woman in the room, it hinders the display of your capability. Because when you focus on yourself as a woman, then that's what people will see. Because that's what they think you have to sell. That's the only thing you can sell. I'm the only woman in this room. I'm the first woman who did this course. Yes, that is important. But what is key is your capability, the value that you bring, the skills, the difference that you can make. So I think the only thing I would add to Madam Engineer's fantastic contribution is let's focus on what value we bring as professionals, as actors in the sector. Yes, we're women, but the value is what we want people to see. So in any space that you're in, yes, you might be the only woman around the boardroom, the only woman in the department, but beyond that, let's focus on what we want to grow. And what we want to grow is the picture of us being competent practitioners and competent professionals. What can the banking sector do? And I'm going to talk about Stanbic. There are two things that entrepreneurs need: skills, money. Isn't it? Skills, money. Stanbic is a unique, very unique financial institution. Many people give you money because we are in the financial services sector, so we say, we'll give you money. Stanbic is doing more than that. We're giving you both skills and money. Because we know if we throw money at something that does not have capability, then we are not really helping you conclusively. The thing that we did a couple of years ago is establish an incubator where we groom and grow capabilities that will serve the oil and gas sector. And we said, let's skill Ugandans, let's skill the women, let's skill the SMEs, the MSMEs, those people that will feed into this sector. And let's do that from a nationalistic point of view, from a proactive point of view. So it's free skilling, free training. If you haven't heard about it, today you're hearing about it. We have the Stanbic Incubator, and our champion is in the room. I think I've seen Tony somewhere. Is Tony somewhere? I think he was here earlier on. Please get in touch with the Stanbic Incubator team. It's headed by Tony Otoa. He's a famous guy in town. He's a very likable person. Speak to him about the skills you need. It is free training. There are very tailored courses on governance, financial management, entrepreneurship. That's a huge intervention, which the bank believes is required for a young sector like ours. So, number one, skills. The second thing is Stanbic takes the view that we cannot just cook our own meal in the kitchen and come and serve it, because we don't know your circumstances. It's very presumptuous of us to think we know what kind of financial facilities you need. So the second thing we're available to do is talk to you and tailor your financial requirements, financial products. That is what we perceive to be new age banking. That's relevant financial intervention. So that's the second thing that we can do. Sit and understand what business you're in. What are the nuances in your sector? Then we tailor financial products that are suitable for you and that can answer to your need at any one time in your development. I think that's what I would say. But congratulations again, WIN members, congratulations founders, and we look forward to an even stronger partnership with yourselves and Stanbic Bank.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Candy, for sharing. What's the value, majorly? What value are we coming with on the table? Thank you very much. I now turn to the only honorable gentleman on the panel. Paul comes from UN Women. We know it's a global champion for gender equality, and we believe you've done a number of studies on how best to place women. can you please share some of the best practices that we can adopt as women to become more competitive in all spheres, let me say, but possibly focusing on our career? But also maybe you could also talk about how WIN can leverage on some of the initiatives you have as we grow this brand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. Allow me to recognize the presence of Honorable Minister and her team here, and of course, the great ladies and gentlemen who are here, and specifically to the committee of WIN. First of all, WIN, thank you so much for bringing UN Women as a member. We appreciate. I'm here on behalf of UN Women Country Representative, Dr. Paulina Chiwango, who was supposed to be here and delegated me to represent her because she equally has another engagement somewhere with women. First of all, I want to say something about UN Women. Of course, we are the entity, global entity for gender equality and women empowerment, established by the Charter of the UN 13 years ago. And in the Uganda here, we've been here for the last 10 years. But of course, UN Women was a small entity within UNDP called UNIFEM. So we've been elevated as an entity, just as UNICEF, UNDP, and any other. Our business, of course, is gender equality and women empowerment. And specifically here, we are talking about energy and extractives. Why are we interested in this? Actually, energy and extractives, has a lot of income, investment, and how do we ensure that women are part of that? First of all, just as ordinarily said, the energy poverty affects women more. I hope you understand what we mean by energy poverty. Who interacts with the energy on a daily basis within a household? Just reflect on the local woman down, not us who are seated here. Somebody who uses biomass on a daily basis. So we are interested in that. Now, how can WIN, for example, leverage its network to support women and girls? Actually, when I look at people seated here, this is already a resource. Network of companies who are here both in private, in the government, the academia. We can leverage on that kind of network to strengthen WIN the more. Recently, I was having a meeting with a company called Econola from Canada, and they were doing some research for World Bank, and they want to set up a regional women in extractive and energy for almost 12 countries, Uganda inclusive. I think this is a big opportunity that WIN can tap into and also learn from that kind of network which is being initiated by the World Bank. But the most important thing is WIN is a young organization. I think you need to sit back and reflect on, one, what are your strategic plans taking forward this organization? Two, you need resources. You need to develop a resource mobilization strategy and also put a dedicated team there. And when I talk about a dedicated team, not just a team a collection of some people, but a technical team that are experienced in mobilizing resources to further the objectives of WIN. The other thing is connecting with the ordinary. I think I was having a conversation with the UNOC team some times back, and I was told that we have an institute for petroleum training people, and only 15% are women. Why? That means we need to identify the gender gap in the extractive and energy and focus on that. Ordinarily, if you go to a mining place, I come from Karamoja. If you go to where they mine Marble City, Moroto, and you look at the kind of activities women are doing there, sometimes you feel that something is extremely wrong in the world, not only in that space. Because how do we support such kind of women to be more productive at that level? We need to focus and empower them. I heard that somebody from Tanzania is here. In Tanzania, there's a company called Tanzanite. They were doing the same things, but they ensure that they invest more money to empower the women in terms of skills, and also training them on entrepreneurship and supporting their initiative to grow. This has happened elsewhere, even in Zimbabwe. You know, the wives of the miners, coming together into an association and then identify what they would like to do in order to support their income, employability, and skills, and they concentrate there. So for WIN, I would request, I'm a member, or UN Women is a member. I know most people say UN Women is for women, 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 women. That is not the issue. Gender equality is not about women. It is about women, men, boys, and girls walking the same journey of transformation, and recognizing that we are equal and moving in the same path to our destination. So I urge WIN to not remain at top level. This is not where the action is. Let's get down. Uganda has been blessed with a lot of resources. A lot of attention is there. We need to enter there and break the barriers, and also use our convening power as WIN to negotiate percentages. Why do I say so? We've been engaged with the PPDA to change the PPDA Act until we made a lot of noise, women movement here and there, until a 30% reservation for women to benefit from procurement, public procurement, was changed in the Act. As UN Women, we are working with the PPDA and at the background, to ensure that that becomes a reality. WIN can borrow the same example, go to the negotiation table and make noise and say 10% is ours. That is true. Yes, whatever proceeds is coming from whatever we are extracting, some percentage has to be allocated to women to empower them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the rapporteur should be taking note of some of the areas we need to begin with as WIN. Before I get to Benita, I would like to talk to Engineer Grace. Coming from the ministry, can you just summarize and tell us some of those challenges that women in the mining sector are facing and how you think they can be overcome?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. But first and foremost, I wish to recognize the presence of my minister, Honorable Nankabira. I'm happy to see you, Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Grace Nakumatovu. Like I've been requested to give a brief comment on a few of the challenges that actually are being faced by the women in the mining sector. First and foremost, we are very much aware that the sector is male-dominated. And irrespective of the enormous attempt to increase the involvement of women, and to which we have recognized exponential increment of the number of ladies within the sector, we still suffer a number of challenges, among which we have the wage gap. Many of, unlike in the ministry, where we are so assured of having equal pay for ladies and gentlemen holding the same positions for the same qualifications, we all earn the same salaries, but in other places, private sector majorly, ladies are paid different because they believe that they're ladies. And that has actually been a big hindrance to many, that some people choose to walk away because they feel they're not paid enough for their labor. Another thing I would say, I would comment on is the gender inequality. Commenting on gender inequality, that triggers a memory of a personal experience. Some years back, when I talk about gender inequality, this is a provision of equal opportunities and rights to ladies and gentlemen, women and men within the sector, to have equal opportunities to jobs, to training and all that. But as much as we are very much aware of this, but many people do suffer inequality. I share a memory of myself when some years back, like 10 years ago, I wanted to leave the sector for greener pastures. Major reason, I felt I wasn't fully tapped, yet I felt I was very qualified, and I needed better pay like my other friends in the private sector. And I was glad I sat interviews. I was invited for interviews for project coordinator for ESCOM, and we were shortlisted, about 17 of us, of which I managed to maneuver to go to the very last interview, where we remained just the 3 of us. And gladly I managed to be the best, because I got communication from the human resource, was a gentleman at the time, that I had managed to be the best. No sooner had I celebrated my win, 2 weeks down the road, I received another communication that they had changed mind. It was very disappointing that I had to drive to Jinja to talk to this gentleman to really get a feel what exactly went wrong. And because we had interacted on a number of occasions, I had 36 interviews, and so I knew the human resource at the time. And he told me that we are so sorry, but we have our CEO, who is a Nigerian gentleman. He doesn't feel comfortable having a lady as a project coordinator. And that was the reason as to why your last interview, you had to come on site to have the interview within the turbines, to see, all cameras were on me to see my reactions to the machines and the like. Not knowing, I was very confident, like Madam Ziria said, during our training and recruitment, we are very committed when you assign to become someone. I walked away so hard, and I realized that I lost the opportunity because I wasn't looked at as a competent person to deliver, but instead I was a woman. And a woman is tagged with so many challenges. So we in the ministry, we have a leveled ground. We give equal opportunities to perform and deliver and promotions and all that. But the private sector is a different story, and elsewhere. So I think WIN can also look into that to ensure that we can foster gender equality. Maybe another question, another thing I would also wish to talk about is we recognize the very low involvement of ladies within the mining sector. And it has been attributed to the fact that also the entry point is so hard. I myself, I joined the mining sector as a mechanical engineer because it's diverse. We as mechanical engineers, we can do so many things with just minimal training. But you realize that so many of these ladies, like Madame Ziria and many other people have commented, we go out there to train, to recruit. We are participating in the daily talks to girls, to recruit them, to trigger their response and involvement at an early stage so that they can enroll to careers within the mining sector. But even when they sit for their S6, to join the tertiary institutions is quite hard because training opportunities for these ladies to join, they were quite inaccessible. It's only of recent that we are having a few institutions that offer mining, engineering, petroleum, something. So it's quite hard for people to come and join, even if someone wanted to join. And secondly, even those who do get those opportunities, they do not have the facilitation to undertake these trainings. So it has also been quite a big hindrance. Furthermore, why I think some of the challenges that we in the mining sector, I would comment, we all belong to a culture where a lady doesn't feel exactly complete if you do not at one point answer your biological calling, as infertility. You need to get married, you need to give birth and all that. But our systems somehow do not support that. As much as people say, yes, women come on board, they're supportive, but most companies, especially the private sector, they are so keen, they are so reluctant to take on ladies because they believe at one point in their life they are quite unproductive because of maternity and all that. We do not have a leveled ground where leveled laws that govern maternity and all that comes along. In regard to that too, I wish to comment that we in the mining sector, we have suffered enormous discrimination, reason being that in addition to the maternity, as Ziria has commented and many of other counterparts who are actively participating and we've grown to the leadership roles, we have enormously suffered to balance the paternal care because it's kind of not designed within the systems of our employment. We as ladies, we are given a role to, at the end of the day after work, you need to go back home and tend to the chores, you need to attend to your children. So it has also been a hindrance, it's a challenge to us. And lastly, another challenge we have is that most of these opportunities in the mining sector are field-based, whereby majority of us who join the industry, somehow our participation is limited in offices, as much as we would like to really go out there and give so much more. But reason being that probably the nature of work is masculine or like, I would request that if we could actually promote technological advancement, provide scholarships to train people on how to, ladies especially, on how we can tap into that potential so that we can also be as more productive as our fellow counterparts. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I know we are running out of time. It gets better by every speaker, but lastly, I'm going to invite Benita from, she's a very prominent entrepreneur. Benita is going to speak to us how we can build ourselves to become prominent, what challenges should we expect, and how should we package ourselves in that space. But Benita, please, if you can do it in 2 minutes, I beg you.
Good morning. Thank you, Betty. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister, thanks for gracing us. Proskovia, thank you for an amazing initiative. I'm so excited. A lot of women here, some that I know have been supporting women, but doing it individually. And so doing it as a network is really exciting. So thank you very much. Some of the challenges that I have faced in the private sector in joining the oil and gas industry is gender bias, and these are issues that have been there for a very long time. They're not new. We keep talking about all these things. These are things that have been there. There's slight changes, but the same issues. Stereotypes, you're looked at like you're incapable, you don't have the capabilities. And when they realize that you do, they kind of look at you as an alien. Like, how? How did you manage to do it? And then they start rebranding you. Oh, she's a tough woman. How did she do it? You know, so they want to now separate you from the rest of the women, you know. And sometimes they're like, oh, and if you're quite vocal, they're like, she might give us problems. So there's a lot that we experience. But some of it is also stems from us, women. We have what we call a fixed mindset. This is how we are. This is, you know, we sort of settle on what we've been told, you know, sort of stay in your corner. But what we should be is a growth mindset. This is where I am, this is where I want to go, and I can do it. And because of my growth mindset, that's how I ended up in the oil and gas industry. I have no background in oil and gas. I'm not technology. I'm not an engineer. In fact, the only thing I knew about upstream oil and gas was, I don't know if some of you might remember Dallas. Do you remember Dallas? The series, J.R. Ewing. That's all I knew. But for the longest time, I just knew that we must be part of our natural resources. Africa is renowned. We have a lot of natural resources. Why do we leave them to others to manage them? And for the longest time, I talked about we must participate in this industry, until I realized, but who's the we? I must be part of the we. So when Uganda discovered oil in 2006, commercially viable, I started watching, and then I decided I'll join, which I did in 2016. In fact, again, because of my growth mindset, I joined, registered, and off I went on a plane. I didn't even start here in Uganda. I went to a big conference there with my Benita Bageri, Albertine Oil and Gas, and I attended the first conference. I had no idea. It was completely new to me, a different world. There they were talking about IOCs, feed, didn't know what they were talking about. Halfway break, I woke up some gentlemen, talk about you know, where I'm from, I'm oil and gas, and they asked me, are you in upstream, midstream, downstream? No clue what stream I was in. Started sweating and panicking. And I decided I'll just throw it back to them, and they can figure out which stream I'm in. And you know, since then, I asked a lot, I've gotten a lot of support. One of the good things that we must do as women is surround ourselves with people who support you. Not one friend of mine ever told me, what are you doing? You know, I was supported. Men as well, I would ask questions, I learned. So it's been self-taught. So I started Albertine Oil and Gas, and today I have 3 oil and gas companies, Albertine, Unispec, and Valley Ridge. Not only that, I started thinking, okay, oil and gas, they talk about the future. I realized, okay, I'm not going to start inventing apps. But what do we have? We have minerals again. These are products. We have all these natural resources that are going to be used for all this technology that's coming up in the future, electric cars. So since we have them, why don't I get into that field? Since I'm not technical and I'm not going to be inventing anything, but we can supply the products that we have naturally. So I ventured into mining recently in Kenya. I see some people from Kenya as well here, looking at tungsten, looking at copper. And I really just want to encourage the women here that we can do it. We just have to have faith in us, and we do it. You know, men do it all the time. We meet them, and sometimes I know these men, and you see them talking about themselves, and you're like, okay, I don't think that's true. But they really exaggerate, and I think we need to start thinking like them. We really need to start thinking like them. So quickly, I know Betty is watching. Access to financing is one of our biggest challenges as women. And this is something that's been studied, it's gone on for a long time. I don't think it's rocket science. We really need to figure this out. I mean, even having 15%, 15% of zero is zero. So how do we need money. We need money, we need support, and I think we need to engage together. Betty, the last thing I want to, for example, if there's companies that want to deal with private sector. I know Petroleum Authority has the National Supplier Database. One of the things I would suggest is maybe have a women's National Supplier Database, so you get maybe companies that have already been registered on the National Supplier Database, but highlight the women in case there's organizations that want to support women. But this is really exciting, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benita. A lot of learning here today. In the interest of time, we are going to do this. I have to apologize to my panelists. We can't do another round. We can't even do a parting shot because our guest really has some other official engagements to run to. But I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much on behalf of WIN for sharing, for giving out this information. This is only the launch of the Women in Energy and Extractives Network. This is only the launch. I can assure you we are going to organize many of these. We'll have these sharings. Many people will come up. I know there are experts in the audience that can come up and speak. But today, please allow us to stop here. I thank you for committing your time, and I thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity to speak to you this morning. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much to our panelists. You have really spoken about very key and very topical issues. I hope we have all been listening, learning, and enjoying the session as we go along. All protocol observed. My name is Hawa Bukenya. I'm a legal officer at Uganda National Oil Company Limited. I am happy and excited to see you all here, and I hope we are learning, sharing, and I know there's going to be a lot of networking that is going to go along. My job here is simple, is really to appreciate all of you for coming here, and to say we are happy, honored, and humbled to have received you in big numbers with excited faces and all looking very brilliant. But in a special way, I would like to recognize the presence of a few people and some of our sponsors for having enabled us have such a successful launch. First of all, I would like to recognize our guest of honor, the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nakabira Sentamu, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Please give her a hand clap. I would also like to recognize Dr. Jane Mulemwa, Board Chair, Petroleum Authority of Uganda. I'd like to recognize Mr. Halfani, Board Chair, Pura. Yes, he's from the upstream regulatory body of United Republic of Tanzania. So thank you so much for coming. We are honored. Yes. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Proskovia Nabanja, the CEO of Uganda National Oil Company. It goes without saying. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Mariam Nampera, the Deputy General Manager, Total Energies EP Uganda. I'd also like to recognize Engineer Ziria Tibalwa Wako, the CEO, Electricity Regulatory Authority. I'd like to recognize Ms. Aisha Naiga, who is a partner at Abmac Associates. I'd like to recognize Ms. Anne Juko, the CEO of Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited. I'd like to recognize Mr. Valerian Firma, who is the Managing Director of SLB. I'd like to recognize Ms. Catherine Tumsime, who is our Chief Human Resource Officer at Uganda National Oil Company. Please help me recognize Ms. Mariam Simire, who is the Director, Joel Energies. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Kandi Wekesa, who is the Head Legal of Stanbic Bank. Yes, I'd also like to recognize Miss Sureya Robo, the Director of National Oil Company, Kenya. I'd like to recognize Miss Amina Bukenya, Media and Publicity Manager at Sinok Uganda Limited. I'd like to recognize Engineer Judith Naiga, Director, Technical Regulation at ERA, Electricity Regulatory Authority. I'd also like to recognize the ESC Secretariat who have organized the EAPC and for giving us all the accommodation and all the support to have this function. I'd like to recognize Ms. Jean Baptistic, who is the Director, Productive Sector, ESC Secretariat. Oh, yes. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for being attentive. We hope you enjoy the rest of the launch. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Amina. Now, I would like to invite the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy, to invite our guest of honor to give her keynote address.
For purposes of correcting the record, I'm not part of the ministry anymore. I used to be there. But I've been asked to step in the shoes of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, to introduce the minister and welcome her to deliver her keynote address. And it's my honor to introduce Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu. Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu is the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development of the Republic of Uganda, a position she has held since June 2021. Before that, she was the Government Chief Whip, a position she was appointed to in 2015. She has previously served as a Minister of State in the Ministries of Agriculture, Finance, Defense, and the Office of the Prime Minister. In 1994 through 1995, she served as a delegate to the Constituent Assembly that enacted the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu holds a Master's of Arts degree in Conflict Studies and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Fine Art, both from Makerere University. She hails from Chiboga District, which she represented in the Parliament of Uganda as a district woman representative for, listen to this carefully, for 25 years. She is a passionate and result-oriented political leader whose steadfast leadership has seen commendable results in the ministries she has served, in the most recent being the achievement of the long-awaited final investment decision for Uganda's oil and gas projects, which now puts Uganda on the road for Fast Oil 2025. What a profile. Honorable Minister, it's my honor to invite you to deliver your keynote address.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. I will begin from where Proskovia ended by concluding my introduction. I am a mother of 7. 4 boys and 3 girls. And my firstborn is an engineer in electronics, a lady. And I am married to a gentleman whose name I'm not using. My husband is Fred Seguja. We are still married. He's the father of the 7 children. It is important for ladies to know this background because it affects our performance. If you are married and you're not using your husband's name, it becomes an issue. And what is in the name? You know, it becomes an issue. Why are you not using my name? It is not an issue in our family. Not at all. Sentamu is my late father's name. So Seguja is not there. But I love him. He's my husband. That was a strategy because I have been participating in elections for years, and I chose to serve from my home district, where my late father made a contribution, and therefore the name Centum was bringing votes for me. So I had to continue with my father's name so that people, oh, this Sentamu's daughter, oh, we shall vote for her. Sentamu was a great man. So Seguja is an acquired name later after Sentamu had invested. So yeah. And lastly, on the introduction, you've heard that in all that I studied, like Benita, there is no upstream, midstream, extractives. What? It is arts. The PhD I have is in public administration. It is not in petroleum, it is not in engineering, in energy, it's not. But what is it that pulls me to perform is what Benita talked about. I will do it. You have to be telling yourself that, yes, I will do it. So I'm honored to be here this morning. When I was told that I have this role to do, I didn't think I will be able to do so because I am engaged in so many programs during this time, including receiving my colleagues, ministers who have come here to interact with the president, and I have to be with them in the State House. And at the same time, I have to close the East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023. But yes, I will do it. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I must congratulate the panel. I am happy and I am lucky that I was able to listen to what the panelists were sharing. Learning is a continuous thing. And it is one of the things that can make you perform, men and women. So these panels are not taken for granted. Are not taken for granted. You continue learning. So I must congratulate you. And I thank all those who really energize me. When you pour compliments, you don't know how I feel. I say, yes, I will continue. But I cannot avoid mentioning the women in my ministry who have really trained me, because I came with no background whatsoever. I have always been surprised by the president with his appointments. You appoint a young girl from Chivoga to be the Minister of State for Luwero Triangle, meaning you are going to deal with veterans. You're a young girl from the university, and you are going to be in charge of an area where the president fought from, and you are not part of the Liberation War. And you say, yes, I will do it. And from there, you hear your name being announced as a Minister of State for Defense. Now, leaving veterans, going for the Rio, and your office will be in Bombo Barracks, where you will be going every day, and every time you are passing at the gate, they have to do the rituals of, saluting and every day. And that is the time when northern Uganda was really suffering. LRA was killing people. You jump from the frying pan to the real fire. And I'm like, but it is the commander-in-chief who has appointed me. Maybe he knows that I will do it. Let us move. Let me go and put whatever I have. And the biggest resource that I have is the energy. I will do it. I will move to northern Uganda. I will go to areas where they have never seen a minister. I will do it. So you have to discover what is your biggest resource that you have. If it is here, you use it. If it is the real energy, physical, use it. Be everywhere and perform. So from a defense where I spent 8 years, really. Every time a reshuffle is done, you think you are going to be taken somewhere else, you're left there. And I was removed when Joseph Kony was not there. The area had been pacified. So because we came here to share, I thought I should share with you my story too. And from there, you go to microfinance, Ministry of Finance. Now, figures, what? I'm a good mathematician. I did PCB, physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. But I did fine art at Makerere University. So that is also a story. Physics, chemistry, biology, stroke, sub-math at Nabisunsa Girls School. But I did Bachelor of Arts, Fine Art, Makerere University. I loved art because I did art at the A level. And again, my teachers had refused me to add fine art on PCB, physics, chemistry, biology, math, and then fine art. Will you have your own program? I said yes. I'll be doing art in the evening. So I ended up doing fine art. So now I worked with Saida Bumba, and I learned a lot from her when she was my senior minister of finance when I was in microfinance. Jumping from microfinance, I was taken to agriculture to do what? To be in charge of fisheries resources. I didn't know how to swim even. So that means I will be operating on Lake Victoria to chase people who are engaged in illegal fishing. So that means I will be operating in water transport, but I didn't even know how to swim in a swimming pool. So I said I will do it. And I harassed those people. I earned a name. There is a weed that invades, it's a really a weed that invades the waters, and when the weed invades, you cannot fish. So that weed in East was called Nakabirwa. Nankabirwa, but they pronounce it as Nakabirwa. Nakabirwa has come because when I go, nobody can do illegal fishing on the waters. So I did the fisheries. And from there, now you are the government chief whip, the post I hated most. Because really, whipping big people, including the president, whipping them, you're supposed to deliver, you're supposed to be in parliament, we have to have quorum. I did it for 6 years. They do it for 3 years, maximum. I did it for 6 years. Okay. I didn't know where to go next, but I said, I think I better think about taking leave of elective politics. I've been elected 6 times. Every after five years, you go back to Chiboga and ask for votes, and they vote for you. After 5 years, you go back and they vote for you. 6 times, And This time round, I didn't make it because of the politics in the central region. I said, okay, now I'm going to leave and do my own. I was there planning, and then I just watched on TV, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Now what am I going to do in energy? Electricity. What am I going to do in the minerals? What? Petroleum at this time. Okay, I will do it. It's what comes. And I treasure colleagues I work with because they mentor me. Every time I learn a new thing. Recently I was at the University of East Africa on the Skills Expo. I learned consistometer. Consistometer. Said, oh, so this is what measures consistency. Consistometer. So I keep on learning, synchronizing, you know, when I start to talk about the megawatts and the transition lines and the substations, and I put it in the layman's understanding, this power which is generated must move in a road, and it has to arrive at a rest room. A rest room is a substation because this power is powerful. You have to cool it down, and you let people laugh and understand. So these women in energy and extractive network must be told certain things. When you come here to share, you must share. When you share, you receive. I have been mentored I'm making 2 years in this ministry next month on 21st. But when you go to international conferences where you are always invited, they think I have been in the ministry for more than 5 years. I give honor to the people I work with, my permanent secretary, Irene Batebe. I call her and we discuss and I understand. Ziria, Mama Tarif. She has taught me the tariff issues such that I can even stand at the media center when we do the basing of the tariff every year to explain the issue of the factors that make the tariff expensive. When you invest on borrowed money in generation and transmission, you contribute 60% to the end user tariff. Yeah, here. So we must use our money as government if we are to see the electricity affordable. Affordability is very key. What did she study? So they have been my teacher. Thank you so much. Proscovia, thank you. I know what upstream means, downstream, midstream. I know the feed, final investment decision, but also the front and end engineering design. And for the refinery, we already have the feed, the FEED. I am waiting for the FID next month. I'm waiting for the FID for the refinery next month. And I know that the announcement of the final investment decision attracts investment in the country. And I know that the announcement of FID in upstream and ECOP that we did on the 1st of February 2022 attracted between 15 to 20 billion US dollars in Uganda. All that is from Proscovia and Ernest Rubondo, the CEO, the MD, CEO and MD of Petroleum Authority of Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to learn? Are you ready to learn continuously? Are you ready to share continuously? Even in matters which you may think don't matter. We have made deliberate efforts to make sure that we place women in those important positions. And the introduction that the lady did by recognizing these ladies is an indication that we are there, especially in Uganda. Vice President, woman. Prime Minister, woman. First Deputy Prime Minister, woman. Third Deputy Prime Minister, woman. Speaker, woman. Energy, woman. Education, woman. Health, woman. Presidency, woman. Then when we break down into our ministries, Permanent Secretary, Energy, woman. CEO, the regulator, woman. CEO, NOC, woman. Chair Board, Petroleum Authority of Uganda, woman. Chair Board of Uganda Energy Credit Capitalization Company, woman. So what is the problem? Then we go down further. Director, Geological Survey and Mines, woman. Director, Rubber. Director, Electricity, woman. Director, Nuclear, woman. Head, Rural Electrification Program. So now, what is it that we can do more to make sure that we are there? To make sure that we empower our colleagues. What is it? You just be deliberate. Don't care about what men will say. We are doing it for their own benefit. We are doing it for you, gentlemen who are here. Ask Mr. Seguja. He's enjoying. He's my firstborn. When I make these travels, if he wants, we go together. If he's not there and I'm doing shopping, I do shopping for the firstborn. Okay? You have to know the size of your spouse. If you don't know it, move with his jacket. Pick a shirt, move with it. Go with the shoe so that you know the real size. You bring the real size, you know how he can feel. He will be the first one to remind you in the morning you were supposed to go to Serena. You were supposed to launch. You told me you have this program. You're still in bed. He will be the first one to say, Mommy has come back. Is there anything for her? When for you, you are seated. He will care for you so that you can continue performing. So what is it that we are going to do, we CEOs who are here? Can you touch on that young girl? Can you be observant? Be observant. When you enter your office and your secretary is gloomy, be observant. She could be having a problem back at home, and you could be having a solution to that problem. They suffer a lot, and they are our facilitators. They are our facilitators. Care, take care. Care to know when you travel, bring a perfume for her, a deodorant. You know, you don't just... Get a solution for that, please. Don't pass here. Can you please pass there? No, get a solution for her. Care. When you are sharing, go deep, okay? Appearance. How to dress. You know, this can pull you down, you know. You just wake up, you don't know where the bra is, you don't know, you know. You can't even do, you know, you have to arrange before you go to bed. Do you know what you are going to wear tomorrow? Do you know? A whole set, not only the dress. A whole set from here, outside and inside, a whole set. The inside makes me happy. I dress for myself. I look at myself in the mirror. The inside is okay. Yes. Yes, you have to match. You have to match. You have to match. You know, that pulls you to perform because you're happy. You're happy. Please, please, please. I am taking a lot of time, but when I begin, because this is what makes me what I am. Okay? The confidence, and the confidence comes from many things. But one, the appearance. Can you step in and then she has come? Yeah, Benita has arrived. That's her. Yes, that is Zeria. And the way you walk, you know. So, don't look at a friend and you say, that one also. Wow, what's wrong with her? No. Pull her. Pull her and talk to her. Share how you've been able to balance. Somebody talked about balance. I don't know, the panelist who talked about balancing. I think the engineer from the mining, balancing matrimonial and other issues without causing lugubriousness. You have to learn. You have to be strategic. Balancing the children's love. You know, whenever I travel, I make sure that I bring, like many of you do. But what happens if you have failed to get time to do shopping? Go home, tell the children your luggage is lost. But you were told that it will arrive tomorrow. Then go to any of these supermarkets and buy items. And buy items. Will they know that these items have come from some of these supermarkets? No. You buy chocolate. You buy chocolate from Uganda. And you are at peace with your children. But to say, you see, I forgot. No. No, you have to be strategic. Okay? Our mothers used to be strategic. You don't do this. When you get your teeth out, the milk teeth out, the rat will give you money. But these days our children, yeah, don't tell them about the rat. You just say that Stanbic Bank buys these teeth for jewelry. And when your teeth are clean, the value goes up. If they are dirty, you'll get little money. I can assure you they will pick the tooth and clean it. Or they will be encouraged to brush every day. And it's only mommy who knows the manager of Stanbic. So you have to give it to me. I take it for you. I bring you the money. Okay? So there are those little things that have kept us balancing, the so-called balancing between the husband and the children, and then the in-laws. Okay? The in-laws are also there because we are the doctors in the family. You have to know how to handle the in-laws. But the most important thing is that you have to invest in peace. You must create peace for yourselves. Don't say, I hate so-and-so. This woman also had this mother-in-law. No. Just create peace for yourself. remind your spouse at the end of the year to do the shopping, or do the shopping yourself for the in-laws. And if he doesn't want to go with you, you go there and take the, for the in-laws. Create peace for yourselves. Please, make sure that you avoid stress. I've just returned from Houston. There was an African Women in Energy conference, and I was given an award, by the way. So on my way back, I sat in the lounge after checking in, and I wanted to call home and say I am about to board. And I had forgotten my phone in a car that took me to the airport. It was okay. I came home. I'm not on phone now, because I left it in Houston. They are shipping it. So, should I acquire another line? Why? The other one is coming. Those who want me will find me at home. Or they will come here at the conference center. So what? But I've been sharing this story with people, and almost the reaction has been similar. Have you got another line? Have you got another line? I'm in forced leave by God. Let me be at peace. I'm in forced leave by God. Let me not be on WhatsApp. Let me not be on phone. Let me sleep without click. The president cannot fail to get me. State House can even call your maid. They can't. You can't hide. You can't hide. So, learn to create peace for yourselves. Don't be pissed by, just create peace for yourself. It will help you perform. Okay? But sharing is very important. Complimenting your friend is very important. They feel energetic. Helping out is very important. So, think about what else we can do as we plan to promote our women, to promote the gender equality. The positions have been forcefully put by legislation, the mandatory, the constitutional provisions, at least 30% women. No board can pass through cabinet without that recognition. We don't even debate it. Say, we just see, this one, woman. Sometimes we argue, is this a woman or man? There are names where you can't even. Then the minister has to explain that this is a lady, and then you count. Go back and balance. So those constitutional mandates are there. So what is it extra that we can do in order to hang in there and perform is what you have shared, okay? Skills, you have to train, because if you are not knowledgeable, how will you compete? How will you compete? So skilling is very important. And then these other social issues that can enhance your confidence so that when you are there in that chair, you are sitting in the middle. You need to sit in the middle of the chair. And then you put on your shades or your specs and you address. And you look at the people in their first faces. If it is the boss who is really pulling you down, you have to remind them that they are born of women. Try to intimidate also. If it's a politician, you say, what is your constituency? You have 51% of the voters as women. Did they vote for you? Okay. You are not supporting me on this? Okay. And you are the chief whip now, eh? Now you are the Minister of Energy. Every constituency needs electricity. How do I use that to make sure that I help women? Okay. So the positions are there, and I am so excited by this force. But again, you hear people still crying over those discrimination because I'm a woman. No, we have to find solution for that. We have to find a solution for that. I am so happy that I made it this morning and that I have shared. I feel more energetic. I am a church person. You must have a force behind you. Apart from having mentors around you, but you must have a force. For me, my force comes from church. My force comes from church. It guides me. How will my church read about this? I can't afford to mess around. I can't. My archbishop, my district card, because I've been working with religious leaders to help. How will they read about this, that I'm in the mess? I cannot afford that. I can't. And that's why some people think they call me a spy. Somebody talked about it. They will name you Iron Lady what? She's a spy what? She's a girlfriend of this, so what? She's gotten this position because she's a thigh power. So what? So what? Just be consistent, be truthful to your husband. Let your husband know you. She will be the first one to defend you. She will be the first one to defend you. So what? Okay? So what is that thing that is behind you? You must discover yourself. Discover that and always respond to it positively. Don't oppose your force. You will fall down. Don't oppose your force. My force is church-based. The rest, I just add on, the trust your boss has in you, but it comes from the other force. The other force is the one that brings you the trust, the love, the confidence, the what. So what is it that is behind you? Is it your parents? Oh, they suffered so much to educate you. They sacrificed. You can't afford to disappoint them. It can be that. It can be that, but you must have a force. Identify that force and listen to that force. Don't disappoint that force. Expound on it. That is very, very, very important. Lastly, before I launch, I was supposed to launch. Lastly, I also share in depth my stories because people always ask me how I have made it, as if I have not been having challenges. I have been having challenges as well. The first challenge came, many, many challenges, but let me mention two. I traveled with the president to Libya some time back, and I was taking my master's course. And I had to be in exams, but I had not asked for permission to do the master's course first of all. But now I'm the one there to sit with him in the summit, and I just let go. So that year, I was unable to graduate. The papers wrote that I failed, Nakabira failed exams. First page, new vision. I didn't care. I knew that I was going to sit the following year. So I prepared to sit for that paper I had missed in the following year. I conceived. But the way I conceived, because I had done a TL, okay? That meant that that is a family planning what? Method. You cut your tubes. I cut my tubes, but I conceived anyway. So I challenged the chief gynecologist in Mulago what he did after knowing that I had conceived, and said, "You honorable." I was an honorable. I have produced all my children honorably. He said, "Oh, honorable, oh." Looked for my file, and we read the histology was done. The operation was successful, but I was told that it happens. It is 0.01% in the world. And so I fall in that category. Of 0.01, where nature fights. Okay? So nature fought and I conceived. But after conceiving and after being cancelled by Professor Miro, I carried the baby. But I delivered a bouncing baby, I nurtured. But when the baby was 2 months, I lost a baby in a swimming pool of 9 years. I'm like, so God knew that I was going to lose this baby, and then he undid, you know, disabled what I had done, and nature just reconstructed, and I got the baby. So my husband said, "Okay, let me be the one now to do." I don't know how many men, especially African men, can do the things that my husband really does. So he offered to go and do a vasectomy. He did the vasectomy. I conceived. Now I know what is running in your minds. You are asking whether we did the DNA. No, we didn't do the DNA. I just told him to go and ask the doctor what they did. I was very confident. He went and asked the doctors what they did, but the doctor also gave him an assignment to take the semen so that they, you know, go to the microscope and see whether they are not active. So when he went, I was waiting for the results at home. He came back and we read the report. Yeah, they are active. So we wondered what they did. So I conceived twice. I lost a daughter. I got 2 from God. But I was telling you how I missed the paper, and then how I kept on conceiving, yet I had to do the paper. But on the day that I was supposed to do the paper, it is when I conceived now, this last time after the vasectomy was done. So I go to Mulago to tell my doctor that I'll be doing my paper at 2 p.m. The doctor said, "I'm not releasing you." I said, "I'm not losing my paper again." So we are tussling it. "I'm not releasing you." I said, "You are releasing me." So I promised that I was going to rush. I was in labor. That I was going to rush, go to Mulago, plead to the lecturer to give me the paper earlier. I do it at like in the morning under tight supervision, and I come and deliver. That's what we did. I went to Mulago, to Makerere University, pleaded with my professor, "Please, I'm in labor, but I have to do this paper so that I can go and deliver. I'm delivering at 2 p.m. This is true story. It's a true story. And when I tell it, people say, "When are you finishing your book?" I've not started writing the book. So I went to Makerere University. They gave me that paper. Good thing it was mathematics research, you know. Out of 5 questions, I did 3, and I knew I would get more than 50%. So the professor had asked me what I wanted. I said, I want water. They brought 4 bottles of water. They were all like this. So they supervised me. I could not sit. So I was writing my paper, dancing. I finished. I rushed to Mulago. I found the nuns, midwives waiting for me in my room. I banged the door on the bed, pushed the baby girl out, and blacked out. I was going to die because I was suppressing nature. Pressure went up. I woke up when the room was full of people, miserable people. Said, what happened? They told me the story that when the baby came out, I was leaving it. So that determination sometimes can be dangerous. I almost lost my life and the life of the baby. But I'm encouraging you to be that determined because the world needs pushers. Yeah? We are jugglers. Women are jugglers. We juggle around many things. You are taking care of the family from where you are born, where you are married, the community. But God created you with that potential to carry the baby and look after the children who are already out. Don't sit on that potential. So women in energy and extractive industry or network, you have to come out. Make sure that the women get the money. We have the energy credit capitalization company in Uganda. Madame Speciosa, who is the chair of the board, has to be deliberate to make sure that the SMEs, which are gender compliant, they are helped. Deliberately, you have to do deliberate effort. Don't fear what they will say. I don't fear. I don't care what they will say. But when I am talking about women, I talk about women. I defend women. I help them. I share. I open up. I open up. Because that is what will help us to survive in this world. We have a good number of people, women in those key positions. We must stop lamenting. We must stop lamenting. Be creative, be frugal. I want to end by thanking you. Pardon me for spending a lot of time, but my story is funny, and I wanted to share the fun. I wanted to share the fun with you. I am honored by the proposal that you chose to make me the patron of the women in energy and extractive industry, who is going to help you on the social aspects, because you are technical. I am not technical. But the social aspects matter also. 1 p.m. I'm supposed to be in State House. Okay. Yes. So the social aspects help the technical aspects as well. That's why we have the HRs as very important people in our organization. So I'm honored. I pledge to be real to you. And I will always guide you. And my door is always open for you. You know the people I work with, you just bump in. The moment I'm in the office, they talk to I can see somebody nodding because she keeps on bumping into my office anytime. But come ready with what you want me to do, then we shall transact. So I'll be there with you. I wholeheartedly accept to be your patron of Women in Energy and Extractive. And with those many words, I take the opportunity to launch the Women in Energy and Extractive Network 2023. I wish you all the success, and thank you all. I want to thank the men who has been behind us, besides us, in front of us, in this initiative. Thank you. Continue. I respect men who respect women. Sincerely speaking, please continue. Also sharing with your male colleagues about what women these days discuss. We don't gossip. We discuss real issues that contribute to the social and economic development of our nations. Thank you, and God bless you all.
In the buzzing depths of our existence stands a consistent tectonic force that has influenced the history of mankind. A force whose tremors have helped shape civilization and sustained the evolution of man. A force that has molded generations, whose gravitations have held society together like magnets. A force by whom we were birthed, whose energy we have fed on to become what we are today. This force of nature is a woman. Have you heard of her? Let me tell you a story. What is woman? Woman is a marvel that makes nature make sense. For just like nature, she's an indescribable beauty. Woman is the most beautiful complication, born strong and constitute her strength immeasurable. She's a warrior queen like a Dahomey woman king, who battles stereotypes and redefines our culture. She is more than a temple, she is a palace in which the wisdom of the world is transfused. Women are the transmitters of knowledge, bringing balance to the scales to which we answer. She is the cradle of mankind on whose shoulders all generations rest. Who is woman? A giver of energy, the lantern that lights up our home. Her radiance is as calm as dewfall, yet her brilliance blazes like a nova. She is the leader, in whom the bite of modesty and humility made her step back to serve in the shadows. But now, she no longer darkens the shadows of men. She's an enigma that unravels the world, taking her rightful place where it was claimed that there was no space. From feeding the society, her vitality bent back. Shh. Did you not hear her heart crack? Her toil and sweat went unnoticed like potholes, but her soul has said no more. She has become more than the famed multitasker. She is a revolutionizing innovator, moving society into the digital age, leveling the nation up to 5G, my G. She is a petroleum engineer whose expertise is fueling our country into the oil-refined age. She's the electrical engineer whose spark has shocked the nation, lighting up homes where young girls can now aspire and dream. She is the visionary executive in male-dominated rooms and corridors, making decisions that will change our nation forever. Let me tell you a secret. Have you not heard of Prosina Banja, Engineer Tibarwa? The list is long, but they dream to make it endless. They stand as beacons of light, inspiring many young women to believe that they can take charge, crafting methods, forming networks that educate and emancipate to develop you. Yes, you. Young women are the life force of the earth, a mirror reflection of Mother Nature. In a world where energies rule economy and oil the pockets of society, where technology advances at speeds only artificial intelligence can seem to fathom, we need the innate knowledge you are blessed with to take charge and lead us into the reign of women. Ladies and gentlemen, let us join forces to become the driving energy that will illuminate Uganda into a new age. An age of women and energy and extractives. For with WIN, there is nothing less than to win.
She's a woman. She is a woman.
Thank you all for coming today to the launch of something beautiful. It's the dawn of a new day. It's the dawn for women in energy and extractives. I hope you enjoyed that performance. Those young girls actually are from a children's home not too far from where I live. We came up with this performance because it was representative of what we thought this was about. So I hope you enjoyed that. Can we have a round of applause for them? They worked really hard on this. And now I would like to invite Loida. Loida, please come up. Okay, so excuse me for that, but the program has changed so many times. I have to keep calling Loida to confirm so I don't make any mistakes. So we would like to announce the Executive Interim Council for WIN. And again, I'm not sure who's doing this. Has it changed again?
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for being part of this. Allow me to invite Ms. Barbara Mwanje to introduce to you and reveal to you the Board of Trustees and the Executive Council for Women in Energy and Extractives Network. Thank you. Ms. Barbara Mwanje.
I knew it was Barbara.
No, I don't think you did. Good morning. Is it still morning? The Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the way this room is filled up today is undeniable evidence of the relevance, the timeliness, and the WIN vision. And it's a testament to the level of support that women have in each other and in all the gentlemen that are here present today. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So my task today is very easy. It is to unveil the governance structure of WIN And I think we have an illustration, a graphic illustration. There we go. So the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nakabirwa Sentamo is our patron. Please, let's give her another warm welcome, and thank you very much. The second level of the governance structure is the Board of Trustees, and currently we have 3 Board of Trustees that have confirmed, and we thank them, and we will wait on a few others to confirm over the next couple of weeks. The next level is the Governing Council, which is a team of 15 ladies and gentlemen, and at the very end we have the Secretariat. The gentleman from UN Women was talking about strategy, resource mobilization. All of that will happen between the Governing Council, or right from the top all the way down. And definitely we will call on all of your support to support us technically and in other ways to manage our resource mobilization and implementation of our action plans. So the governance structure, as you see, the Board of Trustees, the Governing Council are comprised from the following sectors or subsectors. I'm sorry, I probably need to walk over there because I can't see. Batebe, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Ms. Proskovia Nabanja, Chief Executive Officer, Uganda National Oil Company Limited. Victoria Kayemba is our treasurer. Muhumuza Bagere, he's been everywhere. There he is. Samantha Kamanzi, Florence Nsubuga, Grace Lajwe, Benita Bagere, Loyola Karobwa, Betty Namubiru, Amina Bukenya, Anita Kayongo, Caroline Nafuna, and last but not least, Nick Tuma.
Hello? Yes, thank you so much for listening to our governance structure. This is exactly what it's going to look like. We are calling upon each and every one of you to join us as we get on this exciting journey. But what I want to mention most importantly is that we have a new board member on board, Miss Ann Juko. We would like to recognize you for this acceptance. We would like to recognize you for this acceptance, and we are very honored and we appreciate working with you. At this juncture, I would like to call upon our patron, the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankarira, to have a seat here. We are proposing that we have our board members here. We have the Executive Council at the end. We'll have a photo moment. We'll have our official photo taken right now as we welcome our new governance structure. So I'd like to call upon you in your respective capacities, Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankari. I'd like to call upon our Board of Trustees members, the CEO, Uganda National Oil Company. I'd like to call up, yes, just here. Thank you. Yes, right in the middle. Yes, I'd like to call upon our CEO. I'd like to call upon Miss Mariam Nampera from Total. I'd like to call upon Miss. I'd also like to call upon all the executive
Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I would like to invite the CEO of UNOC, today due to equally other important engagements. So I'll read her remarks verbatim. The Honorable Minister, Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, representatives from development partners, representatives from the different ministries, departments, and agencies for both Uganda and Tanzania, civil society organizations, international oil companies, private sector, academia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here today at the official launch of the Women in Energy and Extractives Network, WIN. This is an important initiative that seeks to promote gender equity and inclusion in the energy and extractive sector, and to provide a platform for women to connect, learn, and collaborate. As a key female leader in the energy and extractives industry, I'm proud to have been selected as a member and chair of the WIN Board of Trustees. I strongly believe that my involvement in this initiative will advance the cause of women in the industry and raise awareness of the fundamental role that women play in the sector. It is well known that the energy and extractives industry has traditionally been male-dominated, with women being underrepresented at all levels of the sector. This has constrained diversity and inclusion, which is essential in contributing to the growth and development of the industry. However, times are changing, and today we are seeing more and more women breaking through the glass ceiling and taking on leadership positions in the energy and extractive sector. This is a positive trend, and we must encourage and support. The launch of WIN is therefore a timely and important initiative that will help to create a more inclusive industry that provides equal opportunities for women. By connecting, learning, and collaborating, women in the energy and extractive sector will be better equipped to overcome the challenges they face and achieve their full potential. The objectives of WIN, therefore, are, number one, to strengthen women's network in the energy and extractive sector. Number two, to elevate the profile of women in the energy and extractive sector, and to work to remove the barriers to women advancement. Number three, to enhance participation of women in the energy and extractive sector through business structuring, access to finance, focused training, academic bursaries, conferences, capacity building, and mentorship. Number four, to encourage and foster female leadership in the energy and extractive sector. And lastly, to advocate for and strengthen the integration of gender aspects with focus on women in energy and extractive policies and programs at national, regional, and global levels. I'm pleased to note that the launch of WIN is taking place alongside the East African Petroleum Conference 2023, and that we have the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Dr. Ruth Nankabira Sentamu, not only as our guest of honor, but also as a patron for WIN. This underscores the importance of this initiative and the commitment of the government to promoting gender equity and inclusion in the energy and extractive sector. In conclusion, I would like to thank the organizers of this launch for the opportunity to participate in this important initiative. I look forward to working with you all to promote gender equity and inclusion in the energy and extractive sector
and to creating a more inclusive industry that provides equal opportunities for all. Signed, Engineer Irene Batebe, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Thank you. Okay, so I'm being told I need to close the launch. I think for me it's just to appreciate all of you for coming, especially the men who usually never want to relate to women issues. So men, kudos for coming to participate in this launch. A thank you to the female leaders in the industry, plus the complementary services to the energy industry. Thank you. Of course, the patron has highlighted key areas. I mean, I think we did well. We chose the best patron, and I think we need to clap for that. I think some of the things I pick out from her keynote address is the need for us as women to discover ourselves. And she alluded to the fact that we need to know that force behind the force that drives us. She touched on aspects of resilience. She touched on aspects of intentionality. She touched on aspects of being fearless and defending fellow women, being creative, and so on and so forth. So women, today is only the start. We have a moral obligation to empower other women. And as leaders, actually we need to do more. We need to challenge ourselves. We need to create an inclusive environment for women to participate in the energy and extractive sector. I look forward to each and every one of you participating in this initiative. I think at one point, the committee will be sending out the sponsorship packages, the registration packages, the subscription packages. And it's not only for professionals. I think we are opening the network up for, I think, students, and so on and so forth. So I really look forward to engaging each and every one of you. WIN is so passionate to at least the founding members. I've had an interaction with so many of you who want to join us in driving this agenda. And I hope to see each one of you contributing immensely to this organization agenda. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. And we look forward to further conversations with you as we drive the agenda of inclusivity of women in the energy and extractive sector. So I declare WIN launch closed.
So I've also been informed that the networking event will be taking place in the lobby, as this room is being used for another event for the EAPC. Please bear with us. I hope you've had a wonderful morning with us, because we have loved having you, and hopefully you will continue to support WIN, you'll continue to be a part of us, and just go out there and spread the word. Thank you so much for coming.
All right, just to give us a little guidance on what's going to be happening right after this. Like she said, we're going to have the networking right now as you have your tea break, after which we're going to have our different panel discussions. So if you have the main magazine on page 80 and 81, you can see the different breakout rooms and the different topics we're going to have. So please choose a topic of choice. Each of these will be 1 hour, and then we'll switch to another before we have our lunch break. Thank you very much.
Betty Namuriru, Benita Bagere, Amina Bukenya, Barbara Mwanje, Hawa Bukenya, Victoria Kayemba, Esther Aguti, Loyola Karobwa, Anita Kayongo, Samantha Kamanzi, Emily Nakamia, Proskovia Nabanja. WIN is every single one of us. WIN is you. WIN is me. WIN is Women in Energy and Extractives. WIN is every woman that is prepared to give of herself, to share her knowledge and support, to be a mentor to a generation of women that are sure to change the new era of women in energy and extractives. Ladies and